www.sauvignontoours.com. I have a couple of Sauvignon Blancs in front of me from opposite sides of the world. One from Marlborough in New Zealand. I'm doing that one second because it's got a little bit of oak on there. First one is from the south of France. Not quite sure where in the south of France. Pays-d'Oc, Pays-d'Oc covers a multitude of, not multitude of sins, but multitude of parts of southern France. But I don't think there's any oak on here. So it's a 2015 Calmel et Joseph Villa Blanche Sauvignon Blanc. Give it a whirl. Not giving too much away when I smell it. If I really give it a good swirl, I get little bits of lemon, a little bits of something fatter, maybe a bit of guava, but I've only just undone the screw cap. It may just be that it needs a little bit more time to come out of its shell, so I'll have another swirl before I taste it. And it's a funny one because I was talking about those two elements, the citrus and the richer thing, and it feels like those two bits, like as if someone's picked a very ripe bit and picked a slightly underripe bit to balance it. And at the moment, the two are just about getting on together. I've got a feeling that maybe as the wine opens up in the glass, they'll meld together more. So there's this sweet, richer guava, maybe a little bit of Victoria plum in there, alongside this stonier citrus element. I like it, but yes, it feels like work in progress. Okay, wine number two. This is the Paper Nautilus from Nautilus Winery in Marlborough. Been there a long time. The Paper Nautilus Sauvignon Blanc, small batch, innovative wine, released only in exceptional years, made from hand-picked estate-grown grapes, fermented in a single seasoned French oak cuve. So let's give it a whirl and see what all that means. Well, it's got that ripe, rich edge of Sauvignon, tinged with this smokiness that comes from the oak aging. It feels like I'm not sure what the alcohol will be, 13.5%. So there's lots of New Zealand Sauvignons that are around there. There's this edge of gooseberry, maybe a little bit of the asparagus in there, but there's this slightly herby character and this smokiness from the oak aging. Maybe a little bit of flint character coming through as well. You come to taste it, and I've taken it out of a reasonably cool cellar, but it's a warm day here, so it feels like it's warming up quite a lot. And what I notice coming through here is this really quite rich guava pear. I was talking about guava on the previous one, but here there is this tropical, maybe a bit of passion fruit in there too. And that smokiness of the oak, I was slightly disturbed. Well, not disturbed, but I was wondering whether the oak would be front and centre, and in the hope that over time it would recede into the background. It just says fermented in an oak cuve. It doesn't. I'll probably be able to find details about how long it's been in there, but it hasn't picked up too much of an oak imprint, apart from giving this smokiness. And it feels like a more developed style than you'd expect from we're in end of July 2016 here, so it's just over a year and a third old, and it feels more developed, more open, and more developed fruit flavours, less of the crispness that an unoaked Sauvignon would have, but more extra layers. Is that good? Is it better or is it worse? I think that you'll find some people who prefer the unoaked style. Personally, I think it's just another facet, and I think they've handled it really well. What they've not got is overripe fruit, and then thought, right, okay, we'll give it the overripe fruit. Let's smother it in oak. There's still some crispness there. There's this nice gentle development. One of those wines that I would be very interested to see what happens to it with a further time in bottle. No problem opening it and drinking it now. As I said, there's that oak smell, but it doesn't feel like there's any oak flavours that need to resolve themselves. But pretty good wine, and yes, my favourite of the two by quite a bit. But the first one wasn't bad either. See you soon.